Breaking news also.
Hey world, what up? We're gonna kick it up here with the Los Angeles Lakers, Mr. LeBron James and the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo. The results are already in. The regular season MVP for the 2019-2020 NBA season is locked up with Giannis Antetokounmpo, who went back-to-back consecutive MVPs for him regular season. So kudos to him. He had a dominant regular season, same thing as last season. 2019 it was him against Harden. Now for this season it was him against LeBron James. Due to COVID and quarantine, the NBA season had to pretty much be on pause and then had to resume in the next 5 months. So, meaning of so, LeBron James had a good case of him having the momentum of picking it back up close to Giannis, but again, quarantine happened, season was suspended for 5 months. Then LeBron James pretty much put the foot off the gas in the last 8 games of the regular season of the bubble. So Giannis pretty much had the heatway of being the regular season MVP. So kudos to him. And it looks like LeBron only got 16 votes out of around 103 or so. So I kind of expected kind of in that range. I thought they would probably give LeBron a little more first round votes, but is what it is. I don't have any bad takes on this. I agree wholeheartedly it should have been Giannis. And we got to remember, this is a regular season award. Don't fall into Max Kellerman, who thinks this should affect the playoffs. No, sir. Let's jump in.
Also comes in the form of a Woj bomb. Adrian Wojnarowski reporting the breaking news that Giannis has been named MVP of the 2019 season, this being his second consecutive award. So, Stephen A., I'll start with you. Your reaction.
Well, I'm happy for him. He played hard. He was the reigning league MVP, and he came out and tried to prove that he was worthy of it, that he deserved it. He averaged like 29 and 13 during the regular season. Milwaukee was the #1 seed. They were thriving before the last weekend prior to the play being stalled because of the pandemic. So I understand from a numbers perspective why he would get this award. It was very predictable that it would happen. But he did not get my vote, and I have a vote. I voted for LeBron James. I thought that LeBron James deserved.
Wow. Okay. This is news to me. I did not know Stephen A. actually voted for LeBron James. Um, Listen, LeBron James is a valuable player to his franchise because LeBron James. Well, I'll give him the credit. He lifts up franchises. I disagree that he uplifts his players on his team. That's another subject for another day. A lot of cats can get mad about that. I can care less. But with LeBron James, he uplifts his franchises because he's pretty much the whole foundation. He'll come into your franchise every 4 years or so. Everything will be surrounded by him. The offensive system, the team system, the playing, everything will be centered around LeBron James. He's the spotlight. Everyone else is just a background dancer in the back. And when it comes down to that method, you're going to see some players get traded. You're going to see some coaches get fired. You're going to see the whole offense dependent on LeBron James, the ball usage, etc., etc. And this has been a detriment to LeBron. This is also favored for him with the Miami Heat. He was checked up a little more with Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, and the crew. He played more in a team system. He won more championships, and he was excellent defensively. He went over to Cleveland. He wanted to have that narcissist behavior, anarchy. Pretty much he wanted everything on his own. The offense, he put Kyrie Irving pretty much as a combo guard, not as a point guard. He wanted, he got David Blattfire. He had to trade away a bunch of players, bring them in. There's a lot of stress on the team. So with LeBron, you're going to get some of the good and bad. You really want to be on his good side, but I know I'm kind of going too deep in there. What the whole point I'm pretty much trying to make is, for LeBron James, he's going to be valuable for your franchise. So a lot of cats said he should have around 8 MVPs or so. I disagree with that notion. Him having around 4 is good where he's at. The NBA for the last decade or so has been pretty much spot on for the regular season MVPs they voted for. I could probably tell why Stephen A. is going to say that, or any other player. LeBron James is very valuable. He deserved number 2 on my list. Number 1 was definitely Giannis Antetokounmpo, but Giannis had the better record overall. Giannis had better numbers. Giannis Antetokounmpo was the Defensive Player of the Year award, and that's something LeBron James is very suspect on. And, Giannis was just dominant. He was the Player of the Year. And no knock to LeBron. We all love him, but it wasn't his award to win.
To be league MVP this year. I thought the way he led the Lakers, being the #1 seed in the Western Conference, which is superior to the East. I think the way that he has led this team, the way that he has had them buy in from day one of this NBA season, I can't say enough about the leadership that he has exhibited and exuded throughout this year. No matter what personnel, no matter what personalities, or whatever the case may be, him playing alongside Anthony Davis, but still doing the things that he did, leading the league in assists, playing the minutes that he played at age 35, his 17th season in the league. Like I've said on many, many occasions, I could be critical of shot selection from time to time. I could be critical of his three-point shooting. I could be critical of sometimes his hesitancy to get to a free throw line, et cetera, et cetera. But what you can never be critical of is that this man is a superstar personified, and he has never cheated us. Every time he steps into an arena, he's always ready to play. Sometimes he plays better than others, obviously, but he's always in shape. He's always in condition. He's always conditioned, rather. He's always focused. He doesn't cheat us. And I think that when you see the Western Conference that he plays in and the challenges that he had available to him, and knowing that he was gearing for the postseason as well.
I forgot Kendrick Perkins is on this segment. He's about to go in for LeBron. Oh, man. I got to prepare myself. That's funny. Listen, this is not a deep conversation, deep topic. It's very simple when it comes to it for MVP. I know a lot of people stress over it. They don't have their own criteria. It's not difficult, so I'll walk you through it. Basically, it's the MVP is Most Valuable Player of the Year award. So basically, it's pretty much broken down like this. You're pretty much the player of the year, and basically, you're most valuable to the team's success and your own performance. So if we look at the players for 2020, for example, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the first person we think of. He's been pretty much the player of the year, dominating the regular season and by his stats and by his team's performance and dominance. So he's averaging over 30 a game. He's defensive player of the year. He's killing it on both offense and defense. For Giannis Antetokounmpo, his team had the best record in the NBA in the East, and they're pretty much one of the favorites to win the championship. So he's easily number one. Another person people thrown in, Luka was in the mix in the beginning, but their 7th seed doesn't make sense. James Harden, he had a pretty good start, and then he started slowing down, and it was very inconsistent. But Giannis has always been consistent and dominant. He fits the mold. So the only other person was LeBron James. LeBron started off the season very slow. He wanted to feed Anthony Davis to get started and acclimated in the new team offense. And LeBron James had a couple times to where he only scored 15 points a game, 19. And this is the only season LeBron's pretty much tenure to where he's pretty much dropped a couple games in the 10s for amount of points. I don't remember the last time he's ever done that, even if he has in his whole career. So he's kind of slowed it down a tad bit. But credit to LeBron and the team. They're on a steady pace of pretty much being the second best team in the NBA, which they were record-wise. And LeBron James really cranked it up at the kind of towards the end of the season. They beat the Clippers, then the Bucks. It's more of a narrative, but LeBron's had the numbers, around 26 a game. I think he had around 10 and 11 assists he averaged this season playing point guard. And he elevated the Lakers with Anthony Davis from not being in the playoffs to being the number one in the West. So I get that. I do. But Giannis, you can't deny him as MVP. Let's hear Mr. Perk come in here.
But still did what he did during the regular season. I don't think there's any question in my mind that LeBron James deserved the MVP. I understand why Giannis got it because everybody's looking at numbers and the fact that Milwaukee was the #1 overall seed. But I never thought that he deserved it over LeBron James this year. To me, LeBron James is my MVP. But I'm happy Giannis is a good guy, and I wish him nothing but the best.
You know what, Stephen A., I hate when I come on this show and I have to agree with you. I really come on this show to argue with you a lot of the times, but when you're right, you're right. Look, congratulations to Giannis. Do I think he should have won the MVP? No, I said he's the most dominant player. If you want to go on analytics and all these PERs that this new age has came up with, and he set records like Kareem and Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and all that. But when you talk about the most valuable player, you got to look at the situation. And my most valuable vote was LeBron James. I mean, if you just think about the impact that he had on this Los Angeles Lakers team, #1 in the tough Western Conference. You had multiple guys, his peers, guys that was not on his team. When they were asked, who is your MVP, they said LeBron James, because they know the impact that he brings on the team. Now, I think that what ended up happening was that because he have another top 5 guy in Anthony Davis, that he got discredited a lot, and guys said that he had AD, and that probably persuade people from voting for him. But
But the thing with Anthony Davis,